Close your eyes for a moment and journey with me into the silence of your own being, where the noise of the world fades, and only the truth of your existence remains. I want you to confront a question that has the power to shatter your current reality and reconstruct it into something magnificent. And that question is, what does the millionaire version of you look like? This is not a casual inquiry, but a demand for a radical shift in identity, because you must understand that this version of you is not a fantasy residing in a distant future or a character in a movie, but it is a frequency that exists right now, waiting for you to tune into it. The secret to wealth is not found in the labor of your hands, or the sweat of your brow, or the luck of the draw, and it is certainly not found in the economy or the approval of others. It is found entirely in your state of being. Right now, in this very moment, you are holding an idea of yourself, a concept of who you are and what you deserve. You may see yourself as struggling or stuck or waiting for a break, or perhaps you see yourself as a victim of circumstances beyond your control. And because the world is nothing more than a faithful mirror, it has no choice but to reflect that struggle back to you with mathematical precision. If you want wealth, you must stop chasing it and start embodying it, because you cannot chase what you already are. A millionaire does not wish for wealth, nor do they wake up every morning hoping they will be rich. A millionaire lives from wealth. They are not concerned with lack, nor do they chase money with the frantic energy of desperation. Instead, they carry an air of certainty, moving through the world with a quiet confidence that commands the elements to align. They expect abundance as naturally as you expect the sun to rise, and they make bold decisions, not because they are reckless, but because they do not doubt their own power to create. If you act as though you are still waiting for riches, you will always remain in the waiting room of life forever, anticipating a train that never arrives, because you have not bought the ticket of identity. The universe does not hear what you say, it hears what you mean, and what you mean is determined by how you feel about yourself when no one else is looking. When you assume the feeling of already having it, when you walk as though the world is already bending to your success, you shift into a new timeline where the things you once chased begin to chase you. Do not let your current circumstances deceive you, for they are the greatest tricksters of all. Your senses are liars. They report to you the news of the past. They tell you what you used to believe and what you used to assume. If your bank account is empty today, it is only because your thoughts were empty yesterday and the day before. Do not react to the empty account with fear, for fear is the fuel that keeps the lack alive and breathes new life into old patterns. Respond with faith, which is the evidence of things not seen. If opportunities seem scarce, see them as already yours in the invisible realm, because the invisible is the parent of the visible. When you enter the state of certainty, the world has no choice but to yield, because the world has no creative power of its own. It only reflects the power you project. You must become a vibrational match to wealth, which means you must speak, move, and think like the version of you that already has millions. Take actions with faith, not fear. Carry yourself with the knowing that you are already financially free. Be grateful now, not later. Gratitude is not something you reserve for when the money arrives, because that is gratitude as a reaction. You must practice gratitude as a creation, which is the proof that you have received it in consciousness. And what is real in consciousness must become real in form, because there is no other place for it to go. Wealth is not outside of you waiting to be found, it is within you waiting to be expressed. Step into the reality of riches today, and watch as the world rearranges itself to reflect the truth you now live. Everything you need to become a millionaire already exists within your imagination, which is the workshop of God. The mind is not merely a container for thoughts to come and go, or a screen for passing entertainment. It is the engine of creation and the factory of your destiny. Every skyscraper that pierces the clouds, every thriving business that changes lives, every innovation that reshaped the world first existed as a silent, invisible thought in someone's mind before it became tangible. The mistake most people make is believing that wealth is something external, something to be pursued and hunted like prey. In truth, it is a state of being that first takes root within before it manifests without. You are not separate from the wealth you desire. The money, the luxury, the success, it is not some distant reality. You must struggle to reach across a chasm of time. It is already within you, waiting to be expressed. The only reason you do not see it now is because your mind has been conditioned to accept limitation, scarcity, and lack as normal. But what is normal is only what you have been taught to believe by people who were also asleep. Look around at the life you currently live. Every aspect of it, from your financial situation to your relationships, is a mirror reflecting the dominant state of your mind. If you consistently think in terms of lack, worrying about money, fearing bills, believing wealth is reserved for a select few, then life will continue to show you proof of that assumption because you are the operant power. But the moment you shift your focus, the moment you begin to assume the mindset of wealth, the world will reshape itself to match that new belief. Wealth does not begin in a bank account. It begins in the consciousness of the individual. A millionaire is not someone who merely has money in a vault. A millionaire is someone who knows themselves to be abundant, regardless of the numbers they currently see on a screen. They do not dwell in fear of loss, nor do they hesitate in their actions because they know the source of their supply is internal. They carry themselves with a certainty that money flows to them naturally, that opportunities arise effortlessly, that the world bends to their vision, and because they hold this state, life confirms it. Your mind is a factory of wealth, constantly producing outcomes based on the raw material you feed it. Your thoughts are the raw material. If you think small, you create small results. If you think in terms of expansion, possibility, and certainty, you generate limitless returns. The question is, what are you feeding your mind? Do you begin your day imagining obstacles, or do you see doors opening before you? Do you see money as something scarce, something difficult to obtain, or do you view it as an ever-flowing energy that naturally gravitates toward you like a river flowing to the ocean? The answer to these questions determines your experience. Many people fall into the trap of reacting to their current circumstances rather than assuming control over their reality. If they see a low bank balance, they feel anxious. If they receive a bill, they panic. But a person who understands the power of the mind does not react. They create. Instead of reinforcing the illusion of scarcity, they close their eyes and see themselves as wealthy, secure, and free. They walk in the world as though it has already been done. They do not wait for their reality to change before they feel different. They feel different first, and their reality follows. This is not wishful thinking. This is how the law of life operates. Hesitation and fear are the only things standing between you and the millionaire version of yourself. The moment you decide to shift your focus, to reject every idea of limitation, and instead persistently dwell in the feeling of abundance, you activate the forces that shape reality. Money will come, opportunities will present themselves, but it will not be by accident. It will be because you have commanded it through your state of being. If your mind is the factory of wealth, then you must become its masterful architect. Construct the thoughts that align with riches, abundance, and ease. Live in the certainty that what you imagine is already yours. And as you persist, the world will have no choice but to reflect your new reality. Wealth does not come first, the feeling of wealth does. Most people make the mistake of believing they must first see evidence of success before they can feel successful. They wait for the money to arrive, the opportunities to unfold, or the circumstances to shift before they allow themselves to feel rich. But this is an illusion, a backward approach to life. Reality does not create your state of being. Your state of being creates reality. Look at the world around you. Every object, every invention, every great fortune ever built first existed in an unseen realm, the mind. The same is true for your own wealth. If you want to become a millionaire, you must first become it internally. You must feel it before you see it. You must assume the mood, attitude, and certainty of someone who already possesses everything they desire. This is not pretend or self-deception. This is how life works. You are constantly projecting an inner state onto the world, and the world mirrors it back to you. If you feel lack, if you feel desperate for more, you are affirming to life that you do not have enough. And so it continues to give you the experience of needing, of chasing, of never quite reaching. But when you shift your focus, when you step into the state of already having, everything changes. The world does not respond to empty effort, it responds to certainty. Think of a person who is truly wealthy. They do not panic over bills. They do not hesitate when making decisions. They carry themselves with an inner security and effortless confidence that they belong to the realm of abundance. And because they feel it, the world continues to give them reasons to confirm it. Ask yourself, how would I think, act, and feel if I were already a millionaire? Would you worry about small expenses? Would you feel anxious about the future? Or would you move through life with ease, knowing that wealth is simply a natural part of your experience? The key is to embody that state now, regardless of what your current circumstances show you. If your bank account is low, do not react with fear. Instead, shift into the feeling of abundance. Carry yourself as though financial security is already yours. Speak as if money flows effortlessly to you. Make decisions with the confidence of someone who knows their success is inevitable. The moment you do this, the world begins to shift. Opportunities you never noticed before will appear. The right people will come into your life. Inspired ideas will emerge, leading you exactly where you need to be. But none of this can happen if you are waiting for proof before you believe. Belief must come first. Many will argue, how can I feel rich when I am struggling? How can I act as if I already have wealth when my reality says otherwise? But this is precisely the test. The ones who understand this truth, who persist in the feeling of already having, no matter what their eyes see, are the ones who rise. The ones who continue to dwell in lack, waiting for circumstances to change before they shift their mindset, remain stuck in the cycle of struggle. Your inner world is the blueprint for your outer world. Just as an architect must first envision the design before the building appears, you must first hold the feeling of wealth before it materializes. This is not about reckless spending or pretending to be someone you are not. It is about stepping into the knowing that your wealth is already real, already done, and allowing life to bring it into form. Doubt and impatience are the only things that delay your manifestation. If you check constantly for proof, wondering why nothing has changed, yet you are reinforcing the very lack you wish to escape. Instead, persist in the feeling. Let it become your natural state. When you walk, when you speak, when you make choices, do so from the identity of the millionaire version of you. Let us deeply examine the mechanics of the mirror, for it is the key to your liberation. Most people live as slaves to the reflection. They look at the mirror of life and they see poverty and they say, I am poor. They see rejection and they say, I am unloved. They see illness and they say, I am sick. They do not realize that by acknowledging the reflection as the ultimate truth, they are freezing it in place. You cannot change the reflection by wiping the mirror. You can only change it by changing the face you present to it. The face you present to the world is your concept of self. If you believe you are a victim of the economy, the world will batter you with economic hardship. If you believe you are the creator of your economy, the world will open channels of wealth in the desert. You must develop a kind of spiritual arrogance, a divine audacity that refuses to accept the testimony of the senses when it contradicts your desire. When the senses say there is no way, the spirit says, I am the way. When the logic of the world says it is impossible, the imagination says it is done. This is the battleground where the millionaire is made. It is not made in the stock market, it is made in the silence of the mind, where you choose your assumption against all odds. Consider the nature of identity. Identity is not what you do, it is who you feel yourself to be. If you identify as a person who is trying to get rich, you will always be trying. Trying implies failure. Doing implies completion. You must stop trying to get rich and start being rich in your imagination. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between a physical reality and an imaginal act. If you impress upon it the feeling of wealth, it will accept that as a fact and it will move heaven and earth to externalize that fact. It will compel you to take actions you would not have taken. It will guide you to people you would not have met. It will give you ideas that you would not have thought of. But you must first plant the seed of identity. You must say, I am wealthy with the same conviction that you say, I am breathing. It must be a non-negotiable fact of your existence. We must also address the toxic addiction to the how. The human mind is obsessed with the how. How will I get the money? How will I get the job? How will I pay the debt? This obsession with the how is the greatest block to your manifestation. The how is not your department. The how belongs to the infinite intelligence that governs the universe. Your department is the what and the who. What do you want and who are you? If you define the what and the who clearly, the how will take care of itself. When you worry about the how, you are introducing doubt. You are saying, I do not trust the universe to deliver. You are trying to micromanage the infinite You must let go of the how. You must trust that there are ways and means that you know not of. The millionaire version of you does not worry about the how because they know the end result is guaranteed. They live in the end. Living in the end means you are mentally positioned at the finish line, looking back at the race. You are not running the race, hoping to win. You have already won, and you are enjoying the victory. Let us talk about the specific energy of money. Money is not good or evil. Money is a neutral form of energy that responds to the nature of the consciousness that holds it. If you fear money, it will run from you. If you worship money, it will enslave you. But if you respect money and see it as a tool for expansion and freedom, it will serve you. You must heal your relationship with wealth. You must stop seeing it as a limited resource that you have to fight for. You must see it as an infinite stream that flows through you. You are the channel, not the dam. When you hoard money out of fear, you block the flow. When you spend money with gratitude and joy, you open the flow. The millionaire version of you understands circulation. They know that what goes out must come back multiplied. They do not clutch their coins with a tight fist. They have an open hand ready to give and ready to receive. This openness is a signal of trust. It tells the universe that you know there is more where that came from. Furthermore, you must understand the power of your attention. Attention is the currency of the universe. What you pay attention to grows. If you pay attention to your lack of money, you are investing in your poverty. You are buying more poverty with your attention. If you pay attention to the abundance that is already present in the world, you are investing in your wealth. Look at nature. Nature is lavishly abundant. There is no scarcity of leaves on the trees or drops in the ocean. Align yourself with this natural abundance. When you see a luxury car, do not feel envy, feel alignment. Say to yourself, that is a reflection of my wealth. When you see a beautiful home, do not feel jealousy, feel recognition. Say to yourself, that is my standard. By blessing the wealth you see around you, you are claiming it for yourself. By resenting the wealth of others, you are pushing it away. The millionaire version of you celebrates all abundance because they know it is all part of the same infinite supply. There is a profound peace that comes with the identity of wealth. It is not a frantic excitement, but a deep settled knowing. It is the Sabbath of the mind. When you know it is done, you can rest. You do not have to struggle. You do not have to force. You can take inspired action, but it will not feel like work. It will feel like play. It will feel like the next logical step. This peace is the magnetic field that draws the money to you. Anxiety repels, peace attracts. If you are anxious about money, you are pushing it away. You must find the place of peace within you where you know you are provided for. You must remember that you are a child of the Most High, and it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. The kingdom includes the wealth you desire. It is your birthright. You do not have to earn a birthright, you just have to claim it. Imagine for a moment that you have a golden ticket in your pocket. This ticket entitles you to anything you want. You are walking around with this ticket, but you have forgotten it is there. You are begging for food, you are worrying about shelter, but all the while the ticket is in your pocket. This lecture is your reminder. You have the ticket. The ticket is your imagination. You can cash it in at any moment. You cash it in by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You cash it in by ignoring the evidence of the senses and standing firm in your vision. You are the one you have been waiting for. There is no one coming to save you because you do not need saving. You need awakening. You need to wake up to the reality of who you are. The mirror of reality is waiting for your command. It is waiting for you to smile. It is waiting for you to stand tall. It is waiting for you to put on the robes of the millionaire and wear them with dignity. Do not wait for the world to give you permission. Give yourself permission. Declare it now. I am wealthy. I am abundant. I am free. And do not just say the words, feel the truth of them in your bones. Let that truth vibrate in every cell of your body. Let it rewrite your DNA. Let it restructure your neural pathways. You are building a new brain, a new body, a new life. And it all starts with the simple decision to accept your true identity. You are the architect. You are the creator. You are the wealth you seek. So as we close this first part of our journey, I want you to make a solemn vow to yourself. Vow that you will no longer be a slave to the reflection. Vow that you will no longer let a piece of paper or a number on a screen dictate your worth. Vow that you will be the master of your mind and the captain of your soul. You will walk from this moment forward as the millionaire version of you. You will think their thoughts, you will feel their feelings, and you will take their actions. And as you do this, you will watch in awe as the heavy curtain of your old reality lifts and the bright new stage of your abundance is revealed. It is inevitable. It is law. It is done. We must now confront the single greatest barrier that stands between you and the manifestation of your desires, which is the desperate energy of chasing. Hesitation and fear are the only things standing between you and the millionaire version of yourself, or the version of you that is loved and healthy. The moment you decide to shift your focus, to reject every idea of limitation, and instead persistently dwell in the feeling of abundance, you activate the forces that shape reality. But you must understand the mechanics of this activation, because most people are doing it backward. Money will come, opportunities will present themselves, but it will not be by accident. It will be because you have commanded it through your state of being. If your mind is the factory of wealth, then you must become its masterful architect. Construct the thoughts that align with riches, abundance, and ease. Live in the certainty that what you imagine is already yours, and as you persist, the world will have no choice but to reflect your new reality. However, the trap that ensnares the majority of humanity is the belief that they must pursue their good. They believe they must hunt it down, wrestle it to the ground, and force it into submission. But I tell you that wealth does not come first. The feeling of wealth does. Most people make the mistake of believing they must first see evidence of success before they can feel successful. They wait for the money to arrive, the opportunities to unfold, or the circumstances to shift before they allow themselves to feel rich. But this is an illusion, a backward approach to life. Reality does not create your state of being. Your state of being creates reality. You are constantly projecting an inner state onto the world, and the world mirrors it back to you with absolute fidelity. If you feel lack, if you feel desperate for more, you are affirming to life that you do not have enough. And so it continues to give you the experience of needing, of chasing, of never quite reaching. But when you shift your focus, when you step into the state of already having everything changes, the world does not respond to empty effort. It responds to certainty. Think of a person who is truly wealthy. They do not panic over bills. They do not hesitate when making decisions. They carry themselves with an inner security and effortless confidence that they belong to the realm of abundance. And because they feel it, the world continues to give them reasons to confirm it. Ask yourself, how would I think, act, and feel if I were already a millionaire? Would you worry about small expenses? Would you feel anxious about the future? Or would you move through life with ease, knowing that wealth is simply a natural part of your experience? The key is to embody that state now, regardless of what your current circumstances show you. If your bank account is low, do not react with fear. Instead, shift into the feeling of abundance. Carry yourself as though financial security is already yours. Speak as if money flows effortlessly to you. Make decisions with the confidence of someone who knows their success is inevitable. This brings us to the fundamental law of attraction, which is often misunderstood as a law of pursuit. It is not a law of pursuit, it is a law of resonance. There is a fundamental truth woven into the fabric of existence that you must burn into your mind. The more you chase, the more what you desire runs from you. This is not merely a concept, but an unchanging law of life. The very act of pursuit implies lack. It implies separation. It screams to the universe that the thing you want is over there, and you are over here. And in affirming that distance, you push what you desire further away. What is truly meant for you does not require force, nor does it need relentless effort or desperate grasping. It aligns with you naturally, effortlessly, in perfect harmony. But when you find yourself chasing, when you find yourself striving to hold on to something that resists, it is not a sign to try harder. It is a sign to let go. Think of the wind. You cannot catch the wind in your hands. The harder you grasp the air, the more it slips through your fingers. The tight fist holds nothing, but the open hand can feel the breeze. The same principle applies to anything in life, whether it be love, success, opportunities, or even a sense of inner peace. The energy of chasing suggests that you believe what you desire is separate from you, outside of you, beyond your reach. But this is the greatest illusion. The moment you internalize the belief that something is missing, you reinforce its absence. You become trapped in a cycle of seeking, always looking outward for validation, for approval, for the fulfillment you believe is elsewhere. And in doing so, you unknowingly affirm to the universe that you do not already possess what you seek. The universe is a literal listener. If you say, "I need this," it registers the need and gives you more need. If you say, "I am chasing this," it registers the chase and keeps the carrot dangling just out of reach. To catch the wind, you must be still. To catch your desire, you must stop running. Consider the energy of the sun. The sun does not chase the planets. The sun does not beg the earth to revolve around it. The sun simply burns. It embodies its nature as a star. It stands in its own gravity and power. And because of its immense mass and gravity, the planets naturally orbit around it. You must become the sun in your own solar system. You must generate such a strong gravity of self-worth and certainty that the opportunities, the money, and the people you desire naturally fall into your orbit. This is the difference between force and power. Force is chasing. Power is attracting. Force is exhausting. Power is energizing. When you chase, you are operating from the ego, which fears it will not survive without the external object. When you attract, you are operating from the spirit, which knows it is already whole. Let us discuss the vibrational match. You must become a vibrational match to wealth. This sounds abstract, so let us make it concrete. Every state of being has a frequency. The frequency of poverty is anxiety, constriction, fear, and jealousy. The frequency of wealth is expansion, ease, generosity, and gratitude. You cannot receive the signal of wealth if your radio is tuned to the station of poverty. You must change the dial. This means you must speak, move, and think like the version of you that already has millions. Take actions with faith, not fear. Carry yourself with the knowing that you are already financially free. Be grateful now. Gratitude is not something you reserve for when the money arrives. Gratitude is the proof that you have received it in consciousness. And what is real in consciousness must become real in form. Wealth is not outside of you. It is within you. Step into the reality of riches today and watch as the world rearranges itself to reflect the truth you now live. Many people ask, how can I feel wealthy when the bill collectors are calling? This is the test of the master. Anyone can feel wealthy when the bank account is full. That requires no imagination and no faith. But to feel wealthy when the bank account is empty, that is the act that impresses the subconscious mind. You must understand that your current reality is a delayed echo. It is the result of what you vibrated yesterday and last year. If you react to the echo, you perpetuate the echo. You must ignore the echo and speak a new sound. You must walk to the mailbox with the attitude of a king, not a pauper. You must open the bill and say, I thank you for the service you provided, and I thank the universe for the supply to pay you, even if the money is not in your hand. In that second, the attitude of gratitude opens the channel for it to arrive. Fear closes the channel. Fear contracts the energy field and pushes solutions away. Certainty expands the energy field and allows solutions to enter. Let us deepen our understanding of certainty. Certainty is not arrogance. Arrogance is a mask for insecurity. Certainty is a quiet knowing. It is the same knowing you have that gravity will hold you to the chair. You do not wake up and worry about gravity. You trust it. You must develop that same level of trust in the law of your own being. A millionaire is not someone who merely has money. A millionaire is someone who knows themselves to be abundant regardless of the numbers they currently see. They do not dwell in fear of loss, nor do they hesitate in their actions. They carry themselves with a certainty that money flows to them naturally, that opportunities arise effortlessly, that the world bends to their vision. And because they hold this state, life confirms it. Your mind is a factory of wealth, constantly producing outcomes based on the raw material you feed it. Your thoughts, if you think small, you create small results. If you think in terms of expansion, possibility, and certainty, you generate limitless returns. The question is, what are you feeding your mind? Do you begin your day imagining obstacles, or do you see doors opening before you? Do you see money as something scarce, something difficult to obtain, or do you view it as an ever-flowing energy that naturally gravitates toward you? The answer to these questions determines your experience. Many people fall into the trap of reacting to their current circumstances rather than assuming control over their reality. If they see a low bank balance, they feel anxious. If they receive a bill, they panic. But a person who understands the power of the mind does not react, they create. Instead of reinforcing the illusion of scarcity, they close their eyes and see themselves as wealthy, secure, and free. They walk in the world as though it has already been done. They do not wait for their reality to change before they feel different. They feel different first and their reality follows. This is not wishful thinking. This is how the law of life operates. We must address the paradox of action. Many people believe that not chasing means doing nothing. This is a misunderstanding. There is a difference between action born of desperation and action born of inspiration. When you chase, you act because you are afraid that if you do not act, you will miss out. You send 20 emails because you are afraid one will not be answered. You call the person 5 times because you are afraid they will forget you. This is fearful action, and it smells of desperation. The universe rejects this smell. Inspired action comes from the state of certainty. You send the email because it feels joyful to connect. You make the call because you are excited to share. You take the step because it is the logical next step in a dance you are already enjoying. Inspired action feels effortless. It flows. It does not drain you. When you are in the state of certainty, you will still act, but your actions will be efficient and effective. You will do less and achieve more because you are moving with the current of the universe, not against it. Think of a magnet. A magnet does not run around the room trying to pick up iron filings. The magnet sits still. It simply radiates its magnetic nature, and the iron filings jump to it. You must magnetize your mind. You magnetize your mind by saturating it with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You do this until you are so full of the feeling that you no longer desire the thing because you feel you already have it. This is the great secret. You manifest the desire when you no longer desperately need it to be happy. When you are happy without it, when you are secure without it, that is when the resistance drops and the floodgates open. The paradox is that you must want it enough to imagine it, but you must not need it enough to chase it. You must find the balance of desire and detachment. Let us look at relationships as a mirror for this principle. If you chase love, you repel it. If you beg for attention, you become invisible. But if you fall in love with yourself, if you treat yourself as the prize, if you fill your own cup until it overflows, then others will come to drink from your saucer. You cannot get respect from the world if you do not respect yourself enough to stop chasing what does not want you. Rejection is often just a sign that you are chasing the wrong thing. It is the universe's way of saying not this way. When you stop chasing the wrong things, the right things can catch you. You must have the courage to stand still in the void. You must have the courage to be empty for a moment so that you can be filled with the new. Your inner conversation is the rudder of your ship. If you say you are not chasing, but your inner voice is screaming, "Where is it? Why hasn't it happened yet?" then you are still chasing. You are chasing with your mind. You must discipline your inner speech. You must speak to yourself as the person who has arrived. The person who has arrived does not ask, "Are we there yet?" They say, "I am here." You must affirm, "I am here. I am wealthy now. I am loved now. I am secure now." Even if the outer world looks like a storm, you must hold the center of peace. The eye of the hurricane is calm. Be the eye. Let the world swirl around you, but do not be moved by it. When you are the unmoved mover, the world must reorganize itself around your stability. There is a power in indifference. Not the indifference of not caring, but the divine indifference of knowing that the outcome is guaranteed. It is the attitude of "I would love this, but I do not need this to survive." This lowers the stakes. When the stakes are high, anxiety is high. When anxiety is high, performance is low. Lower the importance you place on the external object. Raise the importance you place on your internal state. Your internal state is the only thing you truly own. Everything else is borrowed. When you value your peace of mind more than you value the money will come to buy your peace. It is a strange irony, but it is the truth. Imagine you are a king or a queen. A monarch does not run after their subjects. A monarch sits on the throne and issues decrees. Your imagination is your throne. Your assumptions are your decrees. When you assume a state, you have issued a decree to the universe. You do not need to run after the decree to make sure it is obeyed. The universe has no choice but to obey the law of assumption. The only thing that cancels the decree is a counter-decree. If you assume wealth in the morning and then assume poverty in the afternoon, you have cancelled your order. You must remain loyal to your decree. This is what it means to have faith. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. The moment you do this, the world begins to shift. Opportunities you never noticed before will appear. The right people will come into your life. Inspired ideas will emerge, leading you exactly where you need to be. But none of this can happen if you are waiting for proof before you believe. Belief must come first. Many will argue, how can I feel rich when I am struggling? How can I act as if I already have wealth when my reality says otherwise? But this is precisely the test. The ones who understand this truth, who persist in the feeling of already having no matter what their eyes see, are the ones who rise. The ones who continue to dwell in lack, waiting for circumstances to change before they shift their mindset, remain stuck in the cycle of struggle. Your inner world is the blueprint for your outer world. Just as an architect must first envision the design before the building appears, you must first hold the feeling of wealth before it materializes. This is not about reckless spending or pretending to be someone you are not. It is about stepping into the knowing that your wealth is already real, already done, and allowing life to bring it into form. Doubt and impatience are the only things that delay your manifestation. If you check constantly for proof, wondering why nothing has changed, yet you are reinforcing the very lack you wish to escape. Instead, persist in the feeling. Let it become your natural state. When you walk, when you speak, when you make choices, do so from the identity of the millionaire version of you. The version of you that is wealthy, the version that has already achieved everything you desire, moves, speaks, and thinks in a way that is entirely different from the person who still feels stuck in limitation. Look at the way truly wealthy individuals carry themselves. They do not hesitate, they do not second-guess their worth, they do not allow doubt to dictate their actions. They know who they are, they know that wealth is their natural state, and because of this, their reality continuously reflects abundance back to them. Now ask yourself, what if you began to live this way today? You must understand that the universe is not withholding your good from you. The universe is reflecting your readiness to receive. Chasing is a sign of unreadiness. It is a sign that you do not feel worthy of holding the gift. You chase because you think the gift is trying to escape. But the gift wants you. The money wants you. The love wants you. You are the destination. Stop acting like the traveler and start acting like the destination. Be the port where the ships arrive. Do not be the boat lost at sea looking for a harbor. Be the harbor. Be the safe place for wealth to land. Let us seal this understanding with the concept of the mirror again. When you chase, the reflection in the mirror runs away. If you move toward the mirror, the reflection moves toward you. But you can never touch the reflection, you can only touch the source. You are the source. If you want the reflection to come closer, you must come closer to your own truth. You must close the gap between who you are and who you want to be. You close that gap in your mind. You merge with your ideal. You become one with the state of the wish fulfilled. When there is no distance in your mind, there can be no distance in your world. The two must become one. So today, make a decision to stop running. Put down the heavy burden of the chase. Stand tall in your own divinity. Breathe in the air of certainty. Look at the world not with the eyes of a beggar, but with the eyes of a creator. Command your reality not with force, but with presence. Your presence is your power. When you are fully present in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are the most powerful being in your universe. The stars align for you. The winds blow for you. The tides rise for you. But you must be the rock that does not move. You must be the certainty in a world of doubt. And when you are that certainty, the world has no choice but to yield to your command. It is done. Before we enter the sacred valley of separation and uncover the spiritual reason why you must walk alone to attain your destiny, I want to pause and ask for your commitment. If these words are resonating with your spirit, if you feel the truth of this alchemy stirring within you, then take a moment to subscribe to this channel. By clicking that button, you are not just supporting a channel, you are signaling to the universe that you are ready to leave the old self behind and step into the masterclass of your life. Join our community of awakened creators who are choosing power over force. There comes a moment in every great life when the noise fades, the familiar disappears, and the path ahead seems terrifyingly empty. You look around searching for hands to hold, voices to comfort, and faces to validate your existence, but all you find is silence. And in that heavy silence, a question arises from the depths of your soul, asking, why is God telling me to walk alone? You may feel that you have been punished or abandoned, or that you have taken a wrong turn that led you into the wilderness, but I am here to tell you with absolute authority that this solitude is not punishment, it is preparation. You are being pulled away from the crowd because your destiny is not tied to them. If you were meant to walk with them forever, they would still be here, but they are not, and that is not a mistake. When the divine intelligence calls you into isolation, it is stripping away the distractions, the noise, and the attachments that blind you from your true nature. It is making space within you so that the voice of your own inner being may be heard above the clamor of the world. Think of the greatest transformations in history. Moses was alone on the mountain when he received the law. Jesus was alone in the wilderness when he discovered his power. The caterpillar is alone in the chrysalis when it dissolves to become a butterfly. Before any great calling, there is always a season of solitude, because revelation does not come in crowds. It comes in the quiet moments of stillness where you are forced to confront yourself. You may feel unseen right now, but you are more watched over than ever before. God has drawn you aside because you are being refined. You are learning that your strength does not come from the approval of others or the consensus of the group, but from the power within you. You are being taught to detach from the illusion that you need anyone outside of you to complete you. You are complete. You are enough, and this path, though it may seem lonely, is leading you exactly where you are meant to be. We must understand the mechanics of this sacred separation because it is a biological and spiritual necessity. You cannot become a new person while holding on to the old environment. The environment includes the people, the conversations, the habits, and the validations that held your old identity in place. Your old friends and your old situations acted as a mirror reflecting back to you the person you used to be. As long as you are surrounded by them, you are constantly being reminded of your limitations. You are constantly being pulled back into the old script. So when you decide to change, when you begin to assume a new state of wealth or power or love, the universe must remove the old mirrors. This often feels like a crisis. Friends stop calling. Relationships end abruptly. You may lose your job or feel a sudden disconnect from your social circle. The unawakened mind perceives this as rejection. It thinks something is wrong. But the awakened mind recognizes this as the clearing of the construction site. You cannot build a skyscraper on the foundation of a shack. The shack must be demolished and the debris must be cleared away before the new foundation can be laid. The silence you are experiencing is the clearing of the debris. It is the vacuum that nature creates before it rushes in to fill it with something higher. Do not mourn the loss of the old mirrors. They served their purpose. They reflected who you were, but they cannot reflect who you are becoming. The fear of being alone is the fear of meeting oneself. Most people spend their entire lives running away from themselves. They fill every silent moment with noise. They scroll through phones, they turn on televisions, they seek constant company because they are terrified of what they might hear if it gets quiet. They are afraid of their own thoughts. They are afraid of their own voids. But you are a student of the truth, and you know that the treasure is hidden in the void. When you are alone, the distractions of the world disappear. The opinions of society fade. The expectations of your family dissolve, and you are left with only you and the presence of God. In this sacred space, you begin to hear what was always there but drowned out by the chaos of daily life. You begin to recognize the whispers of truth that were always speaking but could never be heard over the noise of the world. God speaks in stillness. He does not compete for your attention. He does not scream over the television. He waits until you are ready, until you have been stripped of all that is unnecessary, until you are quiet enough to listen. That is why solitude is so often misunderstood as loneliness. Loneliness is the pain of being alone. Solitude is the glory of being alone. Loneliness is the feeling that something is missing. Solitude is the realization that everything is present. You are being called to break the addiction to external validation. This is perhaps the hardest part of the walk. We are conditioned from birth to look outside of ourselves for approval. We look to our parents, our teachers, our bosses, and our partners to tell us we are good enough. We outsource our authority. But a master cannot be a master if he is looking for a master. To be the operant power, you must reclaim your authority. The season of isolation cuts the cords of dependency. It forces you to validate yourself. When there is no one there to clap for you, you must learn to clap for yourself. When there is no one there to tell you you are right, you must learn to trust your own intuition. This is the forging of a spine of steel. You are developing the ability to stand in your own truth, even if the whole world disagrees with you. This is the quality of leadership. This is the quality of the millionaire. They do not take polls to see what they should think. They think and the world adjusts. You are being trained to be a leader of your own life, and a leader must be comfortable standing apart from the herd. The herd offers safety, but it demands conformity. The wilderness offers danger, but it promises freedom. You have chosen freedom. Let us look deeper into the alchemy of this separation. Alchemy is the process of transmutation, changing lead into gold. The lead is your old fearful self. The gold is your new divine self. The vessel for this transmutation is the hermetic seal of silence. In ancient alchemy, the vessel had to be sealed so that no pressure could escape. The heat had to build up inside to change the metal. Your isolation is that seal. When you are alone, the energy you used to leak out in gossip and complaining and seeking approval begins to build up inside you. It circulates within your own system. It builds pressure. This pressure is not bad. It is the energy of transformation. It is burning away the dross of your character. It is melting down the old beliefs. If you run to your friends and spill your guts, you break the seal and the pressure escapes and the transformation stops. You must contain the energy. You must hold the fire. This is why the ancients said, "Go and tell no man. Keep your secret. Let the energy work on you. Let it refine you. You will emerge from this season not just with a new idea, but as a new being. The heat of solitude fuses your desire with your identity until they are one. There is a profound shift that happens when you stop needing people. Paradoxically, this is when you become most attractive to people. Neediness repels. Wholeness attracts. When you walk alone and you are happy, you become a lighthouse. People are drawn to your light because they are tired of the dark. They are tired of the games and the manipulation and the neediness of the world. When they see someone who is self-contained, someone who does not need to take anything from them, they want to be near that person. By walking alone for a season, you are preparing yourself to have higher quality relationships in the future. You will no longer attract people who match your wounds. You will attract people who match your wholeness. You will no longer attract people who need saving or people who want to save you. You will attract peers. You will attract kings and queens. But you must first be willing to leave the paupers behind. You cannot drag the old crowd into the new palace. If you try, you will only turn the palace into a slum. You must be willing to let the dead bury the dead. This sounds harsh, but it is the highest form of love. You love yourself enough to grow, and you love them enough to let them go to their own destiny. Consider the metaphor of the eagle. The eagle does not fly in a flock. It flies alone or with a mate. It flies at altitudes that sparrows cannot reach. If you want to fly with eagles, you cannot run with turkeys. The higher you go, the thinner the air becomes and the fewer people you will find. This is the physics of greatness. The bottom of the pyramid is crowded. The top is spacious. You are ascending the pyramid of self-actualization. As you climb, you will naturally leave people behind. Do not look down with guilt. Look up with purpose. Your rising does not hurt them, it inspires them. Perhaps one day they will look up and see you soaring, and they will be inspired to find their own wings. But you cannot carry them on your back. If you try to carry them, you will both fall. You must trust their journey and trust your own. The season of walking alone is the season of strengthening your wings. You are learning to navigate the currents of the higher altitudes. You are learning to see with the sharp vision of the eagle. This requires focus, and focus requires the absence of distraction. You are also being separated from the collective consciousness. The collective consciousness of the world is a stream of fear, lack, and mediocrity. It is the news cycle, the gossip, the complaining, the victimhood. It is a hypnotic trance that keeps humanity asleep. To awaken, you must unplug from this matrix. You cannot watch the same news and talk about the same problems and expect to live a different life. God calls you aside to deprogram you. In the silence of your isolation, you stop receiving the signals of the world and you start receiving the signals of the Spirit. You start to think original thoughts. You start to dream original dreams. You realize that the world is not fixed but fluid. You realize that the rules you thought were ironclad are actually just agreements and you can withdraw your agreement. You begin to see the matrix for what it is. This clarity is dangerous to the status quo, which is why the world tries to pull you back. It tells you you are antisocial or weird or arrogant. Do not listen. They are the voices of the sleepwalkers trying to pull you back into the dream. Keep walking. Keep waking up. The sacred separation is also a time of deep healing. We all carry wounds from our past. We carry the voices of our critics, the pain of our rejections, the shame of our failures. When we are constantly surrounded by people, we use them as bandages to cover these wounds. We use relationships to distract us from our pain. But when you are alone, the bandages come off. The wounds are exposed to the air. This can be painful at first. You may feel waves of grief or anger or sadness rising to the surface. Do not be afraid of this. This is the poison leaving the system. You are detoxing from a lifetime of suppression. Let the feelings come. Let them pass through you. Do not judge them. They are just energy moving. By facing these shadows in the safety of your solitude, you are integrating them. You are becoming whole. A millionaire is not just someone with money. A millionaire is someone who is whole. Someone who is not run by their trauma. Someone who has faced their demons and made peace with them. This work can only be done in the private sanctuary of the self. You must understand that God is jealous for your attention. Not in a petty human way, but in a divine way. The source of your life wants to connect with you. It wants to flow through you without obstruction. But when you are full of the world, there is no room for the Spirit. You are like a cup that is full of muddy water. You cannot pour fresh, clear water into a cup that is already full. You must first empty the cup. Solitude is the emptying process. It pours out the opinions of others. It pours out the fears of the collective. It pours out the old identity. It leaves you empty, clean, and open. And it is into this emptiness that the divine abundance can flow. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you create a vacuum of space in your life, the universe must rush in to fill it. But if you fill it with noise and clutter, you block the blessing. Be willing to be empty for a while. Be willing to sit in the void. The void is not nothingness. It is the womb of creation. It is the dark, rich soil where the seed of your new life is germinating. Do not mistake this season for permanence. It is a passage, not a destination. You will not walk alone forever. You are being prepared for a new community, a new tribe. But you must enter that new tribe as an individual, not as a follower. You must enter it as a sovereign being. When two whole, complete people come together, they create a synergy that is powerful. When two broken, needy people come together, they create a codependency that is destructive. Life is protecting you from more codependency. It is forcing you to find your own center of gravity, so that when you do meet your new partners, your new friends, your new alliances, you will meet them at eye level. You will not be looking up for approval nor looking down for validation. You will be looking across in mutual respect. This is the foundation of true wealth and true love. So, if you find yourself walking alone today, do not despair. Do not let the devil of self-pity whisper in your ear that you are unloved. Rebuke that voice. Stand tall in your solitude. Embrace the silence as a lover. Wrap it around you like a royal cloak. Say to yourself, I am not alone, I am with myself and I am with God. I am in the laboratory of the soul and I am being remade. I am the iron in the fire and I am becoming steel. I am the coal under pressure and I am becoming a diamond. Value this time. You will look back on it as the most important time of your life. It is the time when you found out who you really are. It is the time when you stopped being an echo and started being a voice. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil. For you are not dying, you are being born. The birth canal is narrow and it is lonely, but it leads to life. Do not try to turn back. The way back is closed. The only way is through. Keep moving. Keep trusting. Keep your eyes on the light within. The world may have left you, but the universe has found you. You are being set apart for a glory that you cannot yet comprehend. Sanctify yourself. Purify your mind. Focus your attention. You are the high priest of your own temple, and the temple must be cleared before the glory of the Lord can descend. This is the sacred separation. It is the price of the anointing. Pay it gladly. For the reward is a life that is truly yours, not a copy, not a compromise, but a masterpiece of your own creation. There is a specific vibration to the person who has walked alone and survived. It is a vibration of gravitas. When you meet someone who has faced their own soul in the dark and come out the other side, there is a weight to them. They are grounded. They are not easily shaken. They do not need to impress you because they have already impressed themselves. This is the vibration of the millionaire. This is the vibration of the leader. This is the vibration you are cultivating. You cannot buy this vibration. You cannot fake it. You have to earn it in the trenches of solitude. So do not rush the process. Do not try to escape the classroom before the lesson is learned. Sit with the discomfort until it transforms into power. Sit with the silence until it speaks to you. Sit with yourself until you fall in love with the person you find there. Finally, remember that everything in your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. If your outer world is empty, it is because your inner world is being cleared for renovation. Do not fear the empty room. It is a blank canvas. It is an invitation to paint a masterpiece. Use your imagination to fill the void with the furniture of your dreams. Fill it with the feelings of wealth and love and success. Populate your inner world with noble guests. Hold conversations with the wise and the wealthy in your mind. Create a rich inner life that is so compelling that you no longer miss the outer distractions. When your inner world is full, the outer world will rush to match it. But you must first endure the gap. You must hold the tension. You must walk the bridge alone. And when you reach the other side, you will turn around and you will bless the bridge, and you will bless the silence, and you will bless the solitude. For they were the friends who carried you home to yourself. You are walking alone so that you can learn to walk with God. And when you walk with God, you are always in the majority. We now enter the deepest valley of the transformation process, which is the confrontation with the illusion of loneliness and the mastery of the supreme power of detachment. You may feel as if life is actively isolating you, or that you have been cast out into a wilderness where no one understands your language or sees your vision. You may find yourself alone, distanced from people who once played a significant role in your life, and the silence in your home may feel deafening. Do not resist this process and do not mistake it for punishment. This separation is not an accident, nor is it a sign of your failure. It is the divine hand of the universe clearing the chessboard of your life to make way for a new game. You must understand that you cannot become a new person while clinging to the old environment. The environment includes the people, the conversations, the habits, and the validations that held your old identity in place. Your old friends and your old situations acted as a mirror reflecting back to you the person you used to be. As long as you are surrounded by them, you are constantly being reminded of your limitations and pulled back into the old script of your life. So when you decide to change, when you begin to assume a new state of wealth or power or love, the universe must remove the old mirrors, because they no longer reflect the truth of who you are. This often feels like a crisis where friends stop calling, relationships end abruptly, or you lose your job. The unawakened mind perceives this as rejection and thinks something is wrong. But the awakened mind recognizes this as the clearing of the construction site. You cannot build a skyscraper on the foundation of a shack. The shack must be demolished and the debris must be cleared away before the new foundation can be laid. The silence you are experiencing is the clearing of the debris. It is the vacuum that nature creates before it rushes in to fill it with something higher. Do not mourn the loss of the old mirrors. They serve their purpose in your history, but they have no place in your destiny. You must realize that separation is not rejection, it is redirection and protection. Sometimes God removes certain individuals from your life, not because they are bad people, but because their part in your story has concluded. If they were meant to continue with you into the next chapter, they would be there. The fact that they are not is the evidence that their frequency no longer matches yours. Transformation requires elevation, and not everyone is equipped to climb to the altitude where you are going. The higher you go, the thinner the air becomes and the fewer people you will find. This is not a tragedy, it is physics. It is not just people you will be separated from. It is also old habits, limiting beliefs, and outdated ways of thinking. The mind is conditioned to seek familiarity, and it clings to what it knows, even if what it knows is painful. But growth happens outside of comfort. There may be aspects of your life that once served you but no longer align with where you are being called to go. And so life will begin to strip them away layer by layer. It may feel uncomfortable, even painful, but trust that it is necessary. The very things you are being separated from are the things that have been keeping you small. Every major breakthrough in life is preceded by a period of discomfort. Before the dawn, there is darkness. Before expansion, there is contraction. You may feel like you are losing everything, but in reality, you are being repositioned for a gain that you cannot yet comprehend. What seems like loss is actually alignment. You are not being abandoned. You are being guided by a wisdom that sees the end from the beginning. The old must be cleared so the new can take its place. The hardest part of separation is the act of surrender. The mind clings to what it knows, fearing the unknown, and projecting catastrophic scenarios of eternal loneliness. But faith is the willingness to release what is familiar, even when the future is uncertain. It is the understanding that the universe does not take without replacing, and that every ending is simply the beginning of something new. You may not see it yet, but what is being prepared for you is far greater than what you are leaving behind. The mistake many people make is trying to hold on to what is falling away. They chase after relationships that have already run their course. They fight to remain in situations that no longer serve their purpose. They try to breathe life into dead situations. But resistance only prolongs the process and increases the suffering. The sooner you accept that separation is a necessary part of transformation, the sooner you will step into the light that is meant for you. Let go. Trust the process. If something is being removed, trust that it no longer aligns with your highest good. If a door is closing, trust that it was never meant to lead you where you are going. When you surrender to this truth, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You begin to move with the current of life instead of swimming upstream against it. Walking alone strips away illusions. It forces you to see reality for what it is, not for what you wish it to be. It removes the false security that comes from leaning on others and reveals the naked truth of your own existence. You are always meant to rely on something greater than human validation. Faith is not built in comfort, it is built in uncertainty. When everything is stripped away, when there is no one left to call, when you stand at the edge of the unknown, that is when faith is either strengthened or broken. And if you choose to trust, you will see that you were never truly alone. God does not test you with solitude to break you. He does it to show you how strong you truly are. When you walk alone, you begin to see the unseen hand guiding your steps. You notice the small miracles, the doors that open when all seems lost, the provision that appears when there is no logical explanation. This is where faith is born, not in words, not in knowledge, but in direct experience. Because when you have nothing left but trust, you begin to witness divine power in ways you never imagined possible. But the journey of solitude is not easy. It is in these moments of isolation that doubt creeps in like a thief. The mind whispers, what if you fail? Or what if no one comes to help you? Or what if you are truly alone? These thoughts test the very foundation of your faith. And yet it is in facing them that you grow. Because the only way to silence doubt is through experience. The only way to overcome fear is by walking forward despite it. There will be moments in life when you feel completely alone. The world around you will grow quiet, and the people you once relied on will seem distant. You may look around and wonder why you have been left to walk this path by yourself. But the truth is, loneliness is an illusion of the senses. You are never truly alone. From the moment you were created, a presence has been within you, guiding you, protecting you, speaking to you in ways the world cannot understand. This presence does not abandon, does not forget, does not overlook. It is always there, whispering in the silence, moving in the unseen. But In order to recognize it, you must first step away from the distractions of the world. Loneliness only exists when you believe that your connection to others defines your existence. But you were never meant to depend on people for fulfillment. Their presence in your life is temporary, their roles ever-changing. Some will walk beside you for a season while others will drift away. Yet through it all, one thing remains constant, the presence of God within you. You may not always feel it, but that does not mean it is absent. The sun continues to shine even when hidden behind clouds. The wind still moves, though you cannot see it. In the same way, the divine presence within you is always there. Whether you acknowledge it or not, loneliness is actually a poverty of self. It is the feeling that you are not enough to keep yourself company. It is the desperate need to use other people as a distraction from your own void. But when you are filled with the spirit of your own desire, when you are occupied with the noble work of creation, you are never lonely. You are in the company of the gods. You are in the company of your own imagination, which is the host of heaven. Solitude is the richness of self. It is the state where you realize that you are a universe unto yourself. You stop looking for someone to complete you because you realize you are already whole. This is the power of detachment. Detachment is not coldness. It is not indifference. It is not building a wall around your heart. Detachment is the supreme act of trust. It is the knowing that what is yours cannot be lost and what is not yours cannot be kept. It is the ability to stand in the center of your own life and let people and things revolve around you without grabbing at them. It is the realization that you are the sun and everything else is a planet. The sun does not chase the planets. The sun does not worry if a planet spins away. The sun simply burns. It stays true to its nature. And because of its gravity, everything that belongs to it stays in orbit. Let us explore the paradox of attachment. When you attach yourself to a person or a result or a specific amount of money, you are saying, I cannot survive without this. You are placing your power outside of yourself. You are making that object your God. And the universe, which is jealous for your freedom, will often take that object away to show you that you are still standing. Attachment creates resistance. It is a gripping energy. It is the energy of fear. When you grip something tightly, you strangle it. If you hold a bird too tightly, you kill it. If you hold a relationship too tightly, you suffocate it. If you hold a desire too tightly, you push it away. Detachment is the open hand. It is the space that allows things to breathe and grow and come to you. When you detach, you are saying, I desire this, but I do not need this to be who I am. I am whole with it, and I am whole without it. This energy is magnetic. It signals to the universe that you are not desperate, and the universe rushes to fill the non-desperate heart. You must learn to detach from the how and the when. These are the two thieves that rob you of your peace. The human intellect is obsessed with logistics. It wants to know exactly how the money will come and exactly when it will arrive. But the how and the when are not your department. They belong to the infinite wisdom of the subconscious, which sees all and knows all. The subconscious has ways you cannot conceive. It can move mountains. It can align coincidences. When you obsess over the how, you limit the infinite possibilities. You close doors because you are only looking at one door. And when you obsess over when you introduce time, which is a barrier, you push your desire into the future and you keep it there. Detachment means you trust the driver. You have entered the destination into the GPS of your soul. Now, you must let the car drive. You do not need to grab the steering wheel. You do not need to shout at the traffic. You sit back and you enjoy the ride knowing that your arrival is guaranteed. This detachment also applies to your old identity. You cannot be the new person and the old person at the same time. You cannot be the wealthy benefactor and the struggling victim simultaneously. You must let go of the old story. Many of you are addicted to your struggle. You get attention from your struggle. You bond with others over your struggle. You use your struggle as an excuse for why you are not happy. To manifest a new reality, you must completely detach from the glory of your suffering. You must be willing to be happy, even if it makes others uncomfortable. You must be willing to be successful, even if it means leaving your old crowd behind. This is a sacrifice that must be made. You must die to the old self to be born as the new. This is the crucifixion of the ego and the resurrection of the imagination. You must let the dead bury the dead. Your past failures, your past traumas, your past labels, they are dead energy. Do not carry the corpse of your past into the living room of your future. Detach from your history and attach to your destiny. Let us practice the feeling of detachment. Imagine you are holding a rope that is tied to a heavy anchor. This anchor represents your worry, your neediness, your attachment to outcomes. It is dragging you down. Now imagine you simply open your hand. You do not have to fight the anchor, you just have to release the rope. Feel the weight falling away. Feel yourself rising. This lightness is the state of detachment. It is the feeling of floating. You are no longer swimming upstream, fighting the current. You have turned over on your back and you are letting the river carry you. The river knows where it is going. The river is going to the ocean of fulfillment. Your struggling only exhausts you and risks drowning you. Float, trust, be carried. This is not passivity, it is active surrender. It takes great strength to surrender. It takes great courage to trust the invisible current more than your own thrashing limbs. There is a tremendous power in indifference. I do not mean the indifference of not caring about life. I mean the divine indifference to the temporary shadows of the world. When you look at the empty bank account and you can shrug your shoulders and smile, that is power. That smile terrifies the demons of doubt. That smile says, I know something you do not know. I know a secret. I know that this emptiness is temporary and that fullness is the law. When you are no longer triggered by your circumstances, you have conquered them. The world only has power over you to the extent that it can elicit a reaction from you. If you stop reacting, you stop feeding the old reality. You starve it to death, and in its place the new reality must emerge. It is law. You become the unmoved mover. You stand in the center of the storm and you are the eye. Peace is your weapon. Detachment is your shield. The state of detachment is also a state of playfulness. Look at children. They live in their imagination effortlessly. A child says, I am a pirate, and for that moment he is a pirate. He is not worried about his mortgage or his reputation. He is fully immersed in the joy of the game. You must become as a little child to enter the kingdom of heaven. You must treat this life as a divine game. You are the player and you are the programmer. Why are you taking it so seriously? Why are you so grim? The grimness pushes your good away. Lighten up. Laugh at the odds. The odds are for the sleeping man. The awakened man creates his own odds. When you approach creation with a sense of play and curiosity, the friction disappears. You become magnetic. People are drawn to those who are light. Wealth is drawn to those who are easy. Health is drawn to those who are relaxed. Tension is the wall. Relaxation is the gate. Detachment is the key that opens the gate. Remember that you are not creating the reality to get it. You are creating the reality to become it. The purpose of the manifestation is not the car or the house. The purpose is the expansion of your consciousness. The car and the house are just the toys you get to play with because you expanded. Once you realize this, you stop idolizing the objects. You stop worshiping the money. You worship your own expanding, wonderful human imagination. The objects are just shadows. Why would you worship a shadow? Worshipping the object creates attachment. Worshipping the source creates detachment from the object and union with the power. Be in love with the power, not the projection. When you fall in love with your own capacity to imagine, you are free. You know that if you lost everything today, you could recreate it tomorrow, because you are the generator. This knowledge destroys fear. It destroys loneliness. It destroys neediness. You are the source. Let us speak of the silence of power. When you are truly detached, you do not need to talk about your desires. You do not need to convince anyone that you are right. You do not need to seek validation. You keep your counsel. You walk in the mystery. There is something very powerful about a person who is moving with a secret purpose. It makes the world curious. It makes the world bend. When you spill your energy by talking too much, you are seeking approval. You are asking others to believe in your dream because you do not fully believe in it yourself. But when you are detached, you know, and that knowing is enough. Silence seals the energy. It builds the pressure that leads to the explosion of manifestation. Be the mystery. Be the one who walks alone with a smile because they are in constant communion with the divine. This season of walking alone is the chrysalis phase. Inside the chrysalis, the caterpillar completely dissolves. It turns into a soup of cells. It loses its structure. This is terrifying for the ego, which wants to hold on to form. But it is necessary for the butterfly to emerge. You are in the soup. You are being dissolved. Do not try to put the caterpillar back together. Let it go. Let the old identity die. Trust the blueprint of the butterfly that is written in your soul. The isolation is the cocoon that protects you while you change. If you were surrounded by the world right now, you would not be able to dissolve. You would be too busy maintaining your social mask. God has hidden you away so that you can take off the mask and find your true face. Rejoice in this hiding. You are being prepared for a reveal that will astonish the world. So do not fear the illusion of loneliness. It is a trick of the light. You are populated by the stars. You are inhabited by the infinite. You are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. The moment you stop looking for company outside and start enjoying the company inside, the feeling of loneliness will vanish like mist in the sun. You will fall in love with your own mind. You will find that you are the most interesting person you know. You will begin to cultivate a garden in your soul that is so beautiful you will never want to leave it. And paradoxically, it is then when you are fully self-sufficient that the world will beat a path to your door. Everyone wants to be around the person who does not need them. Everyone wants to be near the source of light. By becoming a light unto yourself, you become a light for the world. But you must first endure the darkness of the tunnel. You must walk the path alone. You must detach from the handrails and learn to balance on your own 2 feet. You are being forged into a vessel that can carry the weight of glory. A vessel that leaks cannot hold wine. Attachment is a leak. Neediness is a leak. Fear is a leak. Detachment seals the vessel. It makes you whole. It makes you a container that can hold the blessing without shattering. So accept this time. Accept the silence. Accept the separation. It is the fire that is baking the clay. It is the hammer that is shaping the steel. You are not being rejected, you are being perfected. Stand still. Know that you are God in the making. And know that everything that is falling away is simply making room for the kingdom that is coming. The illusion of loneliness is the price you pay for the reality of power. Pay it gladly. For the power that is coming is worth everything you have lost and infinitely more. We have now reached the summit of this transformative journey. We have traversed the rugged landscape of the wealth mindset. We have walked through the dark valley of sacred solitude, and we have mastered the paradoxical power of detachment. Now we must seal this new reality with the most powerful force in the universe, which is gratitude. This is not the polite gratitude you were taught as a child. This is not the social convention of saying thank you after a kindness. This is a mystical technology. Gratitude is the secret seal of your manifestation. It is the invisible yet unbreakable force that finalizes your assumption and compels it to take form in the physical world. When you express gratitude, not after receiving, but before, you signal to the universe that what you desire is already yours in the only place that matters, which is your consciousness. You confirm the unseen as fact, and in doing so, you make it inevitable. Most people misunderstand the mechanics of gratitude completely. They see it as a reaction to a physical event. They believe they must wait until the money is in their hands, until the success has arrived, or until the circumstances have changed before they can feel thankful. But this way of thinking keeps them trapped in the illusion of waiting in the state of not having. They are still looking outward for proof before they allow themselves to believe. But manifestation does not work that way. You must believe first. You must feel first. And gratitude is the ultimate feeling of already having. It is the frequency of the finished work. You must understand that gratitude is the bridge that collapses time. When you are truly grateful for something, the timeline disappears. In the mind of God, there is no future. There is only the eternal, now. When you say, I will be grateful when it comes, you are pushing your good into the future. But when you say thank you right now, you are pulling the future into the present. Think about how you would feel if right now, in this very moment, you were already a millionaire. Would you be anxious about the bills? Would you be doubting your worth? Or would you be filled with a deep, overwhelming sense of appreciation, relief, and joy? That feeling, that deep sense of thankfulness for the wealth you now possess, is the very key that unlocks the vault. Gratitude aligns you with the frequency of reception. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from longing to fulfillment. And the more you remain in this state of proactive gratitude, the faster your external reality will adjust to reflect it. It is impossible to be grateful and worried at the same time. They are two different masters, and you cannot serve both. When you choose gratitude, you are choosing the master of abundance. You are evicting the tenant of fear from your mind and installing the landlord of plenty. Let us revisit the analogy of the restaurant, because it perfectly illustrates the trust required for this seal of faith. When you walk into a fine restaurant and you place an order for a meal, you do not sit at the table in a state of panic, wondering if the chef is actually going to cook it. You do not run into the kitchen every 5 minutes to check the progress. You do not doubt the waiter. You sit back, you relax, you drink your water, and you engage in conversation. You might even feel a sense of anticipatory gratitude. You are thankful for the meal before you have taken a single bite because you know it is coming. The transaction is complete the moment the order is placed. This is exactly how manifestation works. The moment you assume that your desire is already on its way, you stop worrying, you stop doubting, you stop looking for signs of its arrival. Instead, you shift into gratitude because you know it is done. You prepare the table. You make space in your life. You act as though the guest is already at the door. Gratitude is the signal that you have placed the order and you trust the kitchen of the universe. If you are still begging, if you are still pleading, if you are still checking the tracking number every second, it means you do not believe the order was received. Gratitude is the proof of your belief. Gratitude is not just a passive feeling, it is an active creative force that accelerates manifestation. When you express thankfulness for your wealth before it physically appears, you are affirming its reality in the fourth dimension. You are closing the gap between imagination and experience, between the unseen and the seen. You are sealing the deal. Doubt and impatience do the opposite. Every time you question, every time you feel frustrated that the wealth has not shown up, yet you are delaying its arrival, you are unknowingly pushing it away by reinforcing the idea that it is still missing. You are digging up the seed to see if it has roots, and by doing so you kill it. But gratitude eliminates doubt. It dissolves impatience. It places you in the state of already having, which is the only state that can bring your desire into being. This is why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly while others struggle for a lifetime. The effortless ones have mastered the art of gratitude. They do not wait for money to appear before they feel wealthy. They feel wealthy first and the money follows. They do not hold gratitude hostage until their circumstances improve. They embody gratitude now, and in doing so they summon the very things they are thankful for. They understand that gratitude is the magnetic field that draws the iron filings of reality into a pattern of success. So how do you apply this in the trenches of your daily life? How do you feel grateful when the world seems to be falling apart? This is the test of the master. Start by shifting your focus the moment you wake up, each morning before you even open your eyes. Before you check your phone, before you let the cares of the world rush in, feel a deep sense of gratitude for the wealth that is already yours in the unseen. Speak words of thanks for the financial abundance flowing into your life, even if your bank account has yet to reflect it. Say thank you for the roof over your head. Thank you for the breath in your lungs. Thank you for the millions that are circulating towards me now. Act as though the money is already there, and let the feeling of gratitude guide your thoughts, words, and actions. As you go about your day, resist the temptation to react to appearances. If an unexpected expense arises, instead of slipping into worry, affirm your wealth with gratitude. Say thank you for the endless financial blessings that always find their way to me. This unwavering thankfulness keeps you in the state of already having, and the universe has no choice but to align with your assumption. Gratitude is the final step. It is the seal that locks your manifestation in place. It prevents the mind from wandering back into the wilderness of lack. You must realize that gratitude is the antidote to the poison of victimhood. You cannot be a victim and be grateful at the same time. A victim looks at what is missing. A creator looks at what is present and what is coming. When you practice gratitude, you are stepping into your power as a creator. You are acknowledging that you are the source of your experience. You are not waiting for the world to give you a reason to smile. You are smiling to give the world a reason to change. This is a radical shift in perspective. It requires discipline. It requires you to be the watchman at the gate of your mind. When a thought of complaint tries to enter, you must stop it and replace it with a thought of thanksgiving. This is mental alchemy. You are turning the lead of complaint into the gold of gratitude. And as within, so without. As you create gold in your mind, gold must appear in your hand. This is the law. We must also speak of the vibration of appreciation. Appreciation means to increase in value. When you appreciate a stock, it goes up in value. When you appreciate a person, they blossom. When you appreciate your current life, even the small things, you cause them to expand. If you ignore the small blessings, you are telling the universe that you are not a good container for more. But when you bless the penny, you open the door for the pound. When you bless the small opportunity, you open the door for the empire. You must become a person who appreciates everything. Appreciate the air, appreciate the water, appreciate the struggle that made you strong. Nothing is wasted. Everything is part of the divine plan to bring you to this moment of realization. When you look back at your life through the lens of gratitude, you rewrite your history. You stop seeing yourself as a survivor of trauma and start seeing yourself as a student of mastery. This shift in perception heals the past and liberates the future. Gratitude is the highest form of prayer. Most prayers are petitions. They are asking God for something which implies that God is withholding it or that you do not have it. But the prayer of the Master is the prayer of thanksgiving. Jesus stood before the tomb of Lazarus, and before the dead man rose, he said, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me." He gave thanks before the miracle. He sealed the act with gratitude. You must do the same. Stand before the tomb of your dead finances and say, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. I thank thee that I am wealthy. I thank thee that I am free." This command, given with the authority of gratitude, raises the dead. It brings life to that which was dormant. It turns the stone. Do not underestimate the power of a thank you that is spoken with conviction. It is the sound of the hammer striking the anvil of creation. You are the prize. You are not here to beg for love, for attention, or for a place in someone's life. You are here to stand in the knowing that you are enough just as you are. The moment you let go of what does not choose you, life opens doors to what truly does. Trust the unseen orchestration of your journey. Walk forward with grace, with certainty, and with faith. What is truly yours will never require you to lose yourself to have it. You have walked through the fire of isolation, you have shed the old skin of lack, and you have embraced the identity of abundance. Now go forth and live it, not as a hope, but as a fact. The world is waiting for the version of you that knows who you are. The wealth is yours. The love is yours. The peace is yours. It is done. The seal is set. The ink is dry. The decree has been issued from the throne of your own imagination, and it cannot return void. Let us consider the permanence of this seal. A seal in ancient times was used to mark ownership and authenticity. When a king sealed a letter with his ring, it carried the full weight of his authority. Gratitude is your royal seal. When you stamp a desire with gratitude, you are marking it as your property. You are authenticating it. You are telling the universe, "This belongs to me." Once the seal is broken, it cannot be undone. Once you have truly felt the gratitude of the wish fulfilled, you have marked that timeline. You have claimed that territory. Do not go back and question the seal. Do not peel it off to see if it's stuck. Trust the authority of your own consciousness. You are the king and queen of your kingdom. Your word is law. Your gratitude is the enforcement of that law. Finally, I want you to understand that this integration is a lifestyle, not a technique. You do not just practice gratitude for 5 minutes and then return to complaining. You must become gratitude. It must become the air you breathe. It must become your default reaction to life. When you stub your toe, you say, "Thank you for my body." When you lose money, you say, "Thank you for the lesson and the replenishment that is coming." When someone leaves you, you say thank you for the space you made for the new. This level of radical gratitude makes you invincible. Nothing can hurt you because you transmute everything into a blessing. You become an alchemist of the highest order. You turn every stone into bread. You turn every setback into a setup. This is the ultimate freedom. To know that no matter what happens, you have the power to bless it, and by blessing it, you conquer it. You have now received the blueprint for a new life. You have understood the power of your own consciousness. You have seen the illusion of the mirror. You have stopped chasing the wind. You have walked the lonely path of the initiate, and you have sealed your destiny with gratitude. But knowledge alone is not enough. You must apply it. You must live it. You must breathe it. You must wake up tomorrow and be the person you have imagined. Do not wait for the world to give you permission. The world is waiting for you to give it orders. Give it the order of abundance. Give it the order of love. Give it the order of joy. And watch with delight as it obeys you. The time for sleepwalking is over. The time for playing small is finished. You are the giant that has been sleeping in the hill. Wake up. Shake off the dust of your old limitations. Put on your garments of glory. You are the son and daughter of the Most High. You are the Creator in human form. The power that spins the galaxies is beating in your heart right now. Do not insult that power by doubting it. Honor it by using it. Honor it by being great. Honor it by being happy. Honor it by being wealthy. This is your worship. This is your service. This is your destiny. Go now and walk in the light of this truth. Do not look to the left or to the right. Keep your eyes fixed on the vision of your fulfilled desire. Let gratitude be your song in the night and your shout in the morning. Let faith be the ground beneath your feet. Let love be the canopy over your head. You are protected. You are guided. You are loved. And you are wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. It is finished. You now hold the keys to the kingdom. But a key is useless if it stays in your pocket. You must use it. Do not let this knowledge fade into the background of your busy life. Test it. Prove it. Be the evidence. If this masterclass has served you today, I ask you to share it with someone else who needs to remember their worth. Be the light for another, just as this message has been a light for you. And if you have not yet done so, subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a step in your evolution. We are rising together. Leave a comment below declaring I am the golden ticket to seal your intention today. I read your words and I stand with you in your assumption. Go now and build a masterpiece. Thank you.